Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Vinny's Take. Now, first thing you might ask is, where was last week's episode for the Bills and Raiders game? I'm sorry I didn't do one. I wasn't home that day. I did get to listen to the game on the radio as I was driving home from a wedding. But by the time I got around to remembering that I hadn't done it, it was already Wednesday, and it just seemed like it was a waste at that point to do it. I am very proud of the Buffalo Bills for what they did. They are now going through a difficult stretch, not just because of the schedule, but because of the COVID postponements and everything. And that's what I want to get to here in this video. But before I go any further, I would like to say rest in peace to Hall of Famer Joe Morgan, the Cincinnati Reds, who passed away last night or this morning. I don't know the exact time, but 77 years old. Baseball's lost a lot of true legends in the last month and a half. Guys like Seaver and Morgan and Whitey Ford, amongst others. It's been a difficult time losing legends. All right, let's talk about the NFL and their coronavirus protocols and the season schedule postponements. It all started with the Tennessee Titans and them having several active cases heading into week 4, and their game against Pittsburgh having to be shuffled to week 7 or week 8, and bye switched around. The Steelers and Baltimore's bye switched around to match the Titans' bye. And then the Titans continue to get positive cases, and their game against Buffalo being delayed from Sunday at 1 p.m. to Tuesday at 7 p.m. And word come out that Tennessee had held some illegal practices. The big question there is, did the Tennessee Titans organization have anything to do with it? Did they supply, were coaches involved? Did they supply equipment? If so, Tennessee could be set for some heavy-duty fines. And I honestly think that if that is indeed the case, the second game should not be postponed, and they should force a forfeit. A message needs to be sent to the league that these are the rules. Whether you agree with them or not, these are the rules you all agreed to play by. And whether fans like it or not, whether they like the mask thing or not, the coaches have to wear the masks on the sidelines. It is what it is. That's what the owners and the players all agreed to in order to get the season underway. The New England Patriots are also having some coronavirus issues. There's been a couple of teams who've sprinkled in. Atlanta had a guy. I think Oakland had a guy. But none of them are affecting the play or games. But with the Patriots thing happening, this week's game against Denver was postponed to next week, shuffling around some 8 games in order to get that game in, and everybody gets just their one bye. And I'm thinking that the NFL is really going to have to either get creative, potentially playing 2 games in a week for some teams if this continues on. Or, here's a thought, there's a bye. There's a week off between the conference championships and the Super Bowl, the last week in December. Eliminate that. Get rid of it. You've had it in the past. Super Bowls 23 and 25 come to mind as seasons that were played without bye. Super Bowl 36 as well. They were played without the bye. Eliminate that and put in a week between week 17 and the playoffs called week 18. And this is where any games that end up getting postponed that cannot be reshuffled around easily will get put. And that is where Denver and New England should have gone. And at the same time, the weather's going to be different. It's going to affect the gameplay. In 2001, the NFL postponed the entire week 3 or week 2 action to the end of the season because of 9/11. So it's been done before. It can be done again. Now, with that said, what if a team has multiple games? I hate to sound like an asshole right now, but I'm going to. Players, coaches, personnel, go from home to the facility, back to home. In the NFL, even the minimum employee, the minimum league salary is like $500,000 a year. You can pay to have your groceries delivered, because I know regular people who are working 9-to-5 jobs that have their groceries delivered because of coronavirus, because they don't want to go out. So you can do the same thing. In fact, you should be doing it anyway when you're in a position where you might affect an entire league's operations. Baseball had several similar problems affecting the Miami Marlins and the St. Louis Cardinals early on, and having games shuffled all around, and teams had to do several doubleheaders. Baseball's able to do that. NFL cannot do doubleheaders. Now I'm saying, they might end up having to play 2 games in a week. Yeah, you might end up having to play a game on Thursday and a game on Monday, or a game on Wednesday and a game on Tuesday, just to get everything in. because of this. The league wants to make sure that a 16-game schedule is played so that everybody going in has equal footing. And I, as a fan, would love to see it. I have stated before, we need sports. We want sports. We have to have our sports. In order to get them, the owners and the players had to come up with rules for safety. So the players need to follow those rules. Stop going out. Stop going to strip clubs. Stop doing whatever it was you're doing, going out to bars or what. You're in season. You're 5 weeks in season right now, the 21-game season. Only 17 if you don't make the playoffs. And teams like Atlanta, New York Jets, you're not going to make it in the playoffs. Baffles my mind how they don't think that they're affecting anything by I'm just going to head to the bar, or I'm just going to go out and get groceries. No! Your job is football. And right now, in this era of panic or pandemic, you got to follow the rules, period. Whether you like it or not. It is what it is. So, like I said, some 8 games were affected. The schedule, if you printed it out back in July or April when it was published, throw it away, print it week by week. Even then, fantasy football, luckily I didn't have any Patriots or Broncos on my starting team this week. But because I was at work when the announcement was made and I would have missed the start of the, what if my backup was a Pittsburgh Steeler? What if I was starting, goddamn, who plays for the Patriots and Broncos this year? Julian Edelman. And my backup was J.J. Smith-Schuster. I'd been pretty stupid because I should have started Smith-Schuster. But what if that was the case? I was at work. Can't have my cell phone on me at work. Couldn't have changed the starting lineups at work. So, fantasy football, if you can win your fantasy football league this year, God bless you. But that's fantasy. Real football, come on, players. Do what you're supposed to. Or opt out. One or the other. I mean, if you opt out, there's somebody willing to play. Now, before I go, I'm not a Dallas Cowboy fan. I have stated time and time again that I have an irrational hate for the Dallas Cowboys because I shared a bedroom growing up with my brother during the Bills-Cowboys Super Bowls. I have an irrational hate for them. I always have, always will. But I, as a football fan, as a human being, would be remiss if I did not send my support and my prayers off to Dak Prescott. Alex Smith came back from a compound fracture. Dak, you're younger, you're stronger, you're in better health. You can do this. You can beat this. Come back and show the Cowboys why you should have been paid last summer. Teddy Bridgewater made it back from a bad injury, so can you. And you'll be better than either one of them. All right, until next time, I'm Vinny Benson. Thanks for watching. That's my take. What's yours?